The air in Rome felt thin. It was a city holding its breath. Here, under Emperor Caligula, the world seemed to tilt daily. Logic and order crumbled, replaced by the whims of one man. Senators, once proud pillars, now walked with their heads bowed. They feared catching the emperor's eye. A misplaced glance or hesitant word could lead to ruin. The forum, once thunderous with debate, now echoed with whispers. No one knew what dawn would bring. Perhaps a new impossible tax, or an order to honor the emperor's favorite horse. This was Gaius Caesar Germanicus Caligula, Little Boot. A reign that began with promise slid into unsettling performance. He posed as a living god, appearing as Jupiter, and sometimes Venus, blurring lines of reality. Rome, used to stoic, martial leadership, was bewildered. Extravagance replaced governance. He built floating palaces on lakes and ordered legions to gather seashells, spoils of a victory over the sea. Fear seeped into every corner of the empire. His moods shifted like sand. Displeasure was dangerous. Banquets became tests of loyalty and humiliation. Caligula's actions grew more unpredictable each month. He dismantled tradition with decrees that felt unmoored from reality. He announced his horse Incitatus should be consul, the highest office. Marble stalls, a jewel-studded manger, solemn visits expected. The treasury drained into pleasure ships at Lake Nemi, floating palaces. To pay, he staged accusations, seized estates and auctioned possessions. He even opened a palace brothel, coercing elite families, an outrage. At the Channel, legions halted. He declared seashells the ocean's spoils. Amid this perilous court lived his opposite, Tiberius Claudius Drusus. A man judged for ailments, a limp, a tremor, a stammer. In a culture of perfection, he hid in libraries, writing histories, dismissed by his own dynasty, kept from public view. Caligula made him a court jester, public mockery as a shield. While others were exiled or erased, Claudius survived. Was he a fool, or wearing a mask he crafted? His ailments were real, his strategy subtle. He watched power, flattery and plots, learning how Rome truly ran. He drifted, never swam, playing a long game of survival. The breaking point came on a cold day in January AD 41. At the Palatine Games, resentment had simmered for years. Senate humiliated, army baffled, guard disillusioned. Praetorian commander Cassius Chaerea had had enough. As Caligula left the theatre, a corridor became a trap. Asked for the password, he mocked the officer one last time. Chaerea struck, "Take this!" Others swarmed. The god of Rome fell to mortal steel. Panic raced through the palace. The German guard rampaged, striking at suspects and bystanders alike. Senators who had plotted now fled the storm they'd unleashed. With the throne empty, Rome's future hung in the balance. Republicans dreamed of restoring the Republic. They forgot the Praetorian Guard, power behind the purple. The Guard wanted an emperor, one indebted to them. In the wreckage, they were about to find him, hidden in plain sight. As chaos raged, a terrified Claudius sought a place to hide. He crouched behind a curtain, heart pounding. A Praetorian, Gratus, found a pair of feet. He begged for his life, the last adult Julio Claudian. But the sword stayed sheathed, an idea took hold. The Guard needed an emperor, the Senate mulled a republic. Here was Augustus's kin, no warrior, no threat.
Here is our new emperor.
Against his will, he was born to the Praetorian camp. A scholar, not a ruler, He protested in panic, but the guard acclaimed him. Swords chose the purple. Rome teetered toward civil war. Hours felt like years. The Senate had no army. Will crumbled. First act, a massive bonus. Loyalty secured. He punished ringleaders, but pardoned most. Reconciliation, not revenge. He spoke with knowledge of law and history, surprising the room. He respected institutions and worked with them. The scholar turned methodical administrator. He sat long hours to ensure justice. Public works began. Stability returned. His reign was defined by administration and infrastructure. Rome ran on law, grain and water. He built a modern port at Ostia, moles and a lighthouse. Rome's lifeline became reliable. He structured the civil service, departments for finance, letters and law. Trusted freedmen like Narcissus and Pallas ran them, competence over status. He presided over cases for days, applying a sharp legal mind. He issued edicts, from protections for the vulnerable to regulating the legal trade. He repaired roads and aqueducts. He stabilized the grain supply. He weighed disputes with a steady hand. After years of fear, Rome exhaled. The fool was a scholar in power, effective and calm. Yet Rome prized victory. Legacy demanded conquest. He looked to Britannia. The ocean unnerved veterans. Narcissus rallied spirits. The invasion began, harsh marches, fierce resistance. Roman discipline ground forward. A 2-day struggle at the Medway turned the tide. Victory opened the island. After victories, Claudius came to Britain. Political theatre. He brought war elephants, shock and awe. He witnessed the final assault and the fall of Camulodunum, modern Colchester. He stayed about 2 weeks, enough to seal the moment. Back in Rome, a magnificent triumph followed. The emperor who limped, who stammered, now a conquering hero. The Senate awarded the title Britannicus. A resource-rich province, roads, towns, laws and Latin left their mark. The scholar proved he could expand the empire. More than survival. This was ambition fulfilled. He returned to the daily work of rule. Peace and process over spectacle. Steady hands, lasting changes. But his riddle endured. The story of Claudius is one of history's great turnarounds. Dismissed by family, mocked in a deadly court, he became a capable, transformative emperor. His path was endurance, not conquest. He survived Caligula by embracing the fool's disguise. That disguise kept him safe, until crisis demanded any leader. He was a scholar who ordered a major conquest. He respected the Senate, yet relied on former slaves to govern. He was a stickler for law, yet rose by military acclaim. In private life he was unlucky, manipulated by ambitious wives. Whispers later suspected Agrippina of poisoning, so Nero could rise. His end was dramatic and uncertain, a final sombre chapter. 13 years brought stability and progress. He expanded the empire, strengthened administration, built for the public. Serious, conscientious, he took his duties to heart. Leadership can come in unexpected forms, not always the charisma of a Caesar or the genius of a Trajan. Sometimes intelligence, diligence and quiet resilience. More than luck, his life is a lesson in power and perception. Weakness can be strength. Being underestimated can be an advantage. History turns on unlikely moments. Once an embarrassment, the fool behind the curtain, he survived Rome's danger and became one of its most effective emperors. Sometimes the most unlikely figures changed the world.